Hello, I'm excited. This is a happy video. So, Tomb Raider Remastered, Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 Remastered finally came out, and I've been playing on my Switch, and I am not disappointed. So, let's start. Like, sub, and do the usual, but off we go. It's a huge return to the roots of the Tomb Raider games. There have been two reboots, and while I love the Legends trilogy, I didn't like the Survivor games. I found them frustrating, and I'm not a great lover of generic duck and cover shooters. I also didn't like the portrayal of Lara within those games. Now, this breathes new life into those classic titles. I'm a huge fan of the series, and this remastered collection is just nostalgia on steroids in the best way possible. First and foremost, the enhanced visuals are breathtaking. There's a massive upgrade to the graphics, textures, and character models, and it does bring them closer to modern standards, but it does retain the essence of the original design. The way it's built, the way things look, it's really well done, and oddly enough reminds me of some of the shots from the Tomb Raider Anniversary game by Core Design that didn't come out. Say what you want there, but that's what it reminds me of. These are faithful renditions of the originals, and from the beautiful tombs of Peru through to the lush of Venice and 40 Fathoms, all the way into Area 51, the Indian jungles, and Antarctica. Also, London in Tomb Raider 3 is especially gorgeous. Like, it really captures the mood. It's a really immersive game. The improvements go beyond the aesthetic, though. The controls have been redefined for some smoother gameplay, addressing some of the clunkiness. Although, I will say, I prefer to play with the tank controls because that's how I've been playing the game since I was 8 or 9 years old. So those controls are burnt into my head. I find the modern controls a little bit off in places, but overall, depending on how you want to play, either or will work perfectly fine. I think it's just a case of getting used to it. I do appreciate being able to switch between the original graphics and the new graphics at the press of a button in levels. I really do appreciate that, and actually it shows how beautiful the original were because seeing them cleaned up looks stunning. I'm actually surprised. There's definitely a flexibility there, and I think that's really good. I think one of the best aspects of Tomb Raider Remastered is the preservation of the original puzzle solving and the exploration elements. The level designs encourage you as a player to think critically. It rewards curiosity for hidden treasures and secret passages. While the first games tend to be a little more linear, there are different routes you can take in Tomb Raider 3 and things like that. Now, I'm also going to add here the value for money is brilliant. I think having the PC exclusive expansions on the disc, cartridge in my case, or not even cartridge, digital download, God I'm old, is brilliant because these Tomb Raider Unfinished Business, Tomb Raider The Lost Mask, and The Lost Artifact, the Golden Mask I should say, don't really have any console representation outside of emulation on modern PCs and Macs. They're very difficult to play, and playing these in these extra levels are really cool and finish off stories and add. Some of them have their own story going on, and I love that. I do firmly appreciate having those on this disc. Now, furthermore, the storytelling is engaging as I remember. It weaves together history, mythology, and adventures into a great narrative. Lara Croft's character, although cold and aloof, showcases her intelligence and resourcefulness. And it also showcases the player's intelligence and resourcefulness. These games are not easy. There is tons of bonus content, like I said, the behind the scenes stuff, and all of this stuff is kind of there. And just check out the Twitter feed, it's fantastic. It's a legendary franchise, and this definitely offers a phenomenal experience. It's a must-have for the gaming library, and the fact that legitimate copies of these games are becoming increasingly hard to get your hands on and play over the course of the decades. Discs are getting old, emulators mess up, and sometimes you just want the experience in the palm of your hands or on your television. Criticism. I do have some, and it's minor and it's nitpicky because Tomb Raider nerd, hi. The big one for me was the content warning at the start of the game. Not only felt kind of bizarre, but it did carry the vibe of, on this doll show us where Lara Croft hurt you. I found that a little bit reductive, and it just, seriously, people have played these games for decades now, quite literally. I was about to say years, but it's literally decades. It's fiction. It's, at least you can skip it quick though. Crystal Dynamic, I have opinions on Crystal Dynamic. I will say one of my big criticisms though is missing key Tomb Raider games. Tomb Raider Chronicles, Tomb Raider Last Revelation, and Angel of Darkness. Now, Angel of Darkness was the end of classic Lara, really, and it was a tragedy. The game was unfinished, and I've talked about it a lot, although it probably has one of the best stories in the entire games. I'm hoping we get a fixed version, because I don't think it would take much to fix that game. Hackers and modders and people like that have put their own control systems in the game and things like that for years, sped up the gameplay, changed things. I think just giving that game a better control system and fixing the bugs would be amazing. And imagine how Angel of Darkness would look on modern hardware with this kind of level of detail. Chronicles is probably the weaker game, but it definitely has its moments of nicety and goodies, which I really appreciate. Last Revelation is my favourite Tomb Raider game. I think the music is beautiful, the levels are stunning, and I want to see that remastered in this form. I want to see what that game would look like with these elements. I'm hoping we get a volume 2. I will also say the camera controls annoy the hell out of me, but I'm so used to playing it with a look button, that's how I play it, so it's optional not to use it. But the free camera where you can spin it around just on the thumbstick annoys me, and I don't like this game with analog control. Tomb Raider needs a D-pad, and I know that's a controversial statement. These games are built around a grid system, and if you're using classic controls, the little D-pad on my Switch does far better than the thumbstick. And I do like the fact they gave the enemies health bars. That's a thing you can actually see. Also, just another positive, all the old cheats work. Some of them are new. They're definitely, that's what the clue to this being based on the PC versions was. The cheats in the games are the PC cheats, not the console cheats. So that's a thing. But you know what? They're fun to play, and if you're playing Tomb Raider 1, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you complete the game with all your weapons and then go back and load a previous level, you will get all weapons with unlimited ammunition throughout the entire game, which I think is wonderful. Now, as a fan, hearing that music, hearing the original voice actors, that pure nostalgia and joy, and taking me back to the days of the Sega Saturn and PS1, it just gave me those vibes. Do I think that content warning thing was a little unnecessary because it is a work of fiction? Yes, it felt kind of tacked on in the last minute. We don't want to upset anybody on Twitter. But overall, this is a spectacular collection. Critics have been very 50-50, but this game isn't for the critics, and you can definitely tell it's been made with love. It's been made by people who genuinely care. And in an age where games preservation is becoming a problem, this is wholeheartedly worth picking up. And the fact that it gives you the option to play the games in their original form or remastered at the click of a button, I think adds another layer. And just a side note, I forgot how funny some of the dialogue was. Credit to the voice actresses with this one, they do extremely well. And locking Winston in the freezer is still a joy of mine. But now you can actually freeze him in Tomb Raider 2. But yeah, overall, this is a good... I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 purely on the gameplay, nostalgia, and brilliance of these original games. I would like to see a Legends collection done at some point. I think that would be really cool. I doubt that will happen. but hopefully they do a volume 2 of this with the remaining 3 games. There's also the Game Boy games. There were 2 on the GBC and 1 on the GBA that are worth tracking down, and a few others too that kind of popped up. But these are the classic Lara. This is not the annoying Lara of the Survivor trilogy or the James Bond-esque Lara of Legends. This is Lara Croft as we remember her, and being able to go back and play these and look at those puzzles. Yes, it's at the point where I can play these games with my brain switched off because I know these levels inside and out. I've played them multiple times across many years. I have books, I have merchandise, you name it. I'm a fan, and I think this is a worthy addition to anyone's collection. The return of classic Lara was well worth it. So tell me what you think in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later, and have a wonderful day.